Hi everyone. Welcome to our DMD profile series. And today we're here with Bryan, who has Duchenne, and just talking about his life. Welcome, Bryan. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, no problem.
Great. Just to start us off, can you tell us just a bit of an introduction to yourself? Just tell us a little bit about you, where you live, how old you are, where you grew up, that kind of thing.
Hi, I'm Bryan Purdue. I'm from Greenock in Scotland. I'm 42. I've always grown up in Greenock area. I went to university. Worked for Aberystwyth for my own, just do some volunteering and just stuff to keep me busy.
Great, yeah, that's really good. And yeah, so tell me a bit about kind of when you were younger. What was it like for you growing up with Duchenne?
It was quite tricky to get diagnosed, and the primary school I was in had loads of stairs. I could manage it at first, and then it got harder, and I had to move to a school outside the area because the schools down here weren't adapted enough for people with wheelchairs to go to, so I had to go up to Erskine, which is about half an hour away in the car. It's tricky at first. I get diagnosed when I was 6.
Right.
So I grew up, most of my life I can remember having Duchenne, so just like get used to going to hospitals and getting different hospital appointments all the time, really.
Yeah. Is there any time when you felt like that you kind of realized that you were different, or has it kind of just been with you all your life?
Mostly I've been with me all my life because I can't, because I was diagnosed quite young, so it's quite hard to remember before that point.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, and you said you had to go to a different school that was more suited to your needs. What kind of school was that? Was there other disabled children there as well?
No, it was more than mainstream school. There was about 4 or 5 disabled kids.
So yeah, how was that? Did you get enough support when you were younger, when you were at school?
I had a support teacher. She came and helped me in different classes and things like that. Helped me go sit in the seats or whatever, and go to the toilet and different things. Just to help me through the day.
When you were younger, did you have any thoughts about like what you wanted to do when you grew up, that kind of thing?
I think when I got to about 4th year, I thought I wanted to do like sort of computing at a university. So that's the sort of route I went.
What was it about computing that appealed to you?
I just stuff that I could do easily, stuff I didn't find too tricky, stuff that I enjoyed doing.
So how about with like the progression of Duchenne? When did you start using a wheelchair?
I used it through high school because it was quite spread out, so I had to use it instead of walking.
And when did you get to the point where you had to use the wheelchair all the time?
6 years after my operations.
What was that procedure? Was that for your back or
Your tendon? Yeah, I tried it twice. The first time it worked, the second time it failed. But if I hadn't done it the second time, I think I would have walked a bit longer, but not much longer.
Yeah. Okay. And did you ever use steroids when you were younger?
I used them for 6 weeks. I didn't like them. They made me hungry, so I just stopped. So I've only used them for 6 weeks. Apart from a chest infection once, that's all the times I've ever used them.
When was that? How old were you when you tried them?
15, I think. 15 or 16. Not really affected me much, I don't think. But I can tell it's probably would have slowed things down, but then again, side effects. So I don't think I'll ever go on them either.
Do you remember what it felt like when you first started using the wheelchair?
At first, I was a bit reluctant, but then it gave me more independence. So I think that made it better.
Yeah, so I guess when you were kind of in high school and college, what did you expect from the future for yourself?
I wasn't sure because it was a bit up in the air, what how life expectancy stuff. But I just thought I'd try my best and try and get a job. I think that was my main aim through university. That was my main aim to get a sort of job for a while and see what that was like.
So, in terms of the life expectancy, is that something that you've thought a lot about while you were when you were younger?
Not really, just I'll be honest, I'm trying to avoid it and just get on with
Yeah.
my life really, which I think a lot of people do.
Mm. Talking about kind of your time after school. So, did you go to university? Is that right?
University of Paisley I went to, which is
Okay.
now it's just now the West of Scotland University. Now it's been renamed.
Okay. And what did you study there?
Business Information Technology.
And yeah, tell me a bit about your university life. Did you live away at university or did you live at home?
I travelled. We got transport and they pulled it because there wasn't enough funding. And we wrote to John Major, who was Prime Minister at the time, and increased the budget for travelling at that time. So I was able to go like in a sort of taxi sort of thing every day. So that was quite good when we got that sorted out.
And was that something that you thought about when you were at university about moving into student accommodation?
No, I don't think at the time, I don't think the accommodation was good enough for
Right.
what I needed. I think it's different now, but at that time, I don't think it was good enough. Having been in a few student flats, it definitely wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. So maybe yeah, maybe it would be different if that was now. But
Uh,
how was that in terms of living at home and going to university? Was that did that kind of affect your university experience in any way?
no, because my brother did the same, and my pals, most of my pals did the same, apart from my pal Bob, who was from Northern Ireland. The rest of us just stayed in our homes and travelled, so most of us did that. So it wasn't really
Mm.
any different than anybody else. And because we live so close, I don't think there's any point in moving. You live like half an hour away from university.
Yeah. How about like going out and about, enjoying the nightlife, that kind of thing? Is that something that you were able to do?
I went out plenty of times in Paisley when I was at uni. Went to lots of pubs and drunk too much and did everything everybody else did.
Good to hear that you got the full kind of experience of life at the time. Oh, that's good. How did you like the university life? How was that for you?
It was good fun. Uh, when you got a group of pals, it was good fun and go to the pub and different things. And, like just hanging about up there was quite good. And the study's quite hard, but you get into that, you get used to that. But it was good. The college life, university life and college life is good fun.
Did you make many friends during that time?
Yeah, but 10, I'd say.
Was it easy enough to make friends?
Yeah, I think people were very accepting when up at that university were very friendly and accepting.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, that's good. And are you still in contact with any of those friends now?
Yeah, but 5, I'd say, still talk to quite a lot.
It sounds like a really good experience for you to have.
Yeah, apart from the stress, it was good.
Was it stressful? Why was it stressful?
Just the exam time and dissertation time was quite stressful, but
Yeah.
apart from that, it was okay.
And how did you find it? Kind of like uh, managing your condition. Was there anything that kind of was harder at university because of your condition?
The lecturer was in charge of first year, showed around the place, showed me different things. And, also, the student support people were very good as well at university, set me up, so I got on quite well setting my things up. It was all planned pretty well.
What kind of support did they provide you?
I had somebody I could talk to like anytime I wanted something. They got me equipment like a laptop and different things to use, and I was quite well supported. If I needed anything, I just had to call or email or just drop by. That was good that way. At that time, I could do quite a lot for
Mm,
myself, so it wasn't too bad. I could use the computers. I didn't need that much help with stuff. Just get my jacket on and off and a few other things. But my
yeah,
pal did that for me for a while. One of my best pal went to the same uni. He helped me out as well, so that was quite good.
oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah. How long were you at university for?
5 years.
Okay.
I switched course, and the course is up here a year longer than in England as well.
So, when did you graduate?
The year 2000.
Wow, cool. And yeah, how did that feel, graduating from university?
I felt it was a good achievement, especially getting an honours degree. I felt that was a good achievement. I was quite happy with how I did.
It sounds like a great achievement. I think, but particularly when it wasn't always easy to get that support, was it, to do that? I think,
No,
the fact that you've achieved it is quite impressive.
I think it's a bit easier now. I think people like you and me and going to university and that have helped change things in certain universities for the better.
So after university, you mentioned you got a job. Is that right?
I worked in Aberdeen Arsenal for 5 years.
Mm. And what did you do in that job?
Uh, Software engineer. I was in a graduate programme and I was a software engineer after that, but that's what I did.
How did you find that job?
It was good. Never the most interesting job, IT job, so it was good. And it was, I liked being up in Glasgow in the city every day. And I've made some good friends there I still keep in touch with as well.
Well, that's good. So it sounds like the kind of university and work experience that you've had has been really good for you. Kind of like making friends and building your social kind of network.
Yeah, it's good for my, just good for my morale as well. Knowing I could do a job and things
Yeah.
that maybe some people in school doubted.
How easy was it to get the job after university?
It's quite easy, really. It took me a few months to get on the programme, but it took about 3 months to get interviewed, so it was not bad. And
Mm.
they're quite open to employing me and things, so that was quite good.
Yeah, I think that's really important, isn't it, to find that
They didn't see my
to find an employer that can be
yeah,
supportive.
they didn't see my disabilities as an issue. They just seen it as part of who I was, and they were just trying their best to help me deal with it
Yeah,
and work with it. I think that's the best way people can be with it.
that's great. And how did you manage when you were at work? Did you work near where you live, or did you have to move?
No, I stayed where I was, and I just travelled up by taxi, and then my pal took me for a wee while, so it was quite good that way. It was all worked out well.
So, what kind of hours did you work? Was it a part-time job? Was it full-time?
At first, it was 9 till 5 until 2003 when I started using an event, and then I went part time.
It sounds like it could be quite high pressure for you. Did you find?
Some bits of job were high pressure, some bits weren't, but I coped it okay then. When I went part time, it was a bit easier, but because of my getting ventilation, that I had to be done for the last couple of years.
Yeah. So, yeah, tell me about that. What did happen when you had to go on ventilation? Was that a sudden thing, or did that take time?
Well, I'd been to see Dr. Barnum, who's head of the vent team at that point in the west of Scotland. He said, "You don't need a vent now, but you might need one like 6 months a year." And then I wasn't well for a while, and then I found it hard breathing and stuff, and I got took to the hospital not very well. And like I got took to the local hospital, didn't really know, didn't have much experience with ventilators at that time. But my mum was quite worried about it, so my mum just phoned up Dr. Wilcox, who was my geneticist, and said, "If I get this problem, I, I don't think the hospital are dealing with it very well because they don't have experience. What do you think you should do?" And then 2 minutes later, the nurse from the vet team phoned my mum, and I get transferred up to their hospital the next day. And ever since then, I felt a lot better since then. At that point, I made up great deal of difference. But I wish I'd got it earlier, but it worked out all right in the end.
So when you changed over to ventilation, was that non-invasive first, or was it a trachea?
It was nose mask at first, and then a mouth mask, and then a full face mask. Because you know what it's like with you get leaks. You get leaks
Yes,
all the time, and the nose stuff. I can't use the nose stuff because I breathe through my mouth quite a lot.
right.
So you got mouth masks, and they worked quite well. But you know what it's like with you get quite a lot of leaks with mouth masks,
Yeah,
no matter what you do. And the full face mask is like a bit like torture, I'd say. It's like it makes you so hot. But it worked for a while.
what was it that led you to get the tracheostomy?
Well, I finished work in 2005.
Mhm.
Get made redundant because I've been asked to take over for Saturday and I made a big lot of job cuts. And then I was just like, I started getting care in 2005 to get me up with stuff, like fully. So after about 5 years, I was struggling to breathe right, like during the day. But mouth passes that during the day weren't quite working, and I was struggling to eat, so I went down to like 9 stone or something. About May 2010, wasn't feeling very well, and Dr. Barham took me in the hospital and said, because he wasn't very happy, he said there's something not right. So I was in the hospital the first night, and I remember getting x-rayed, and then that's the last I can remember until I woke up with intubated. Well, what happened is my lung collapsed. I had a hole in my lung, so that collapsed, and I, like the revived me and got me intubated and sent me to ITU, and then they sent me back to HCU, but my lung collapsed again. So they basically said you need to trachea, or that's the end of it. So I went for a trachea then, but it's quite an experience getting it, but I can't remember half of it.
Yeah, yeah. What are the good points and bad points of having a
Good point.
trachea?
Good points. I could eat again. I put weight on. I felt better. It makes you helps you breathing, so you get headaches. You used to get with masks. So it's good things like that. Oh, the two bad points are you've always got to be near somebody within earshot of somebody, which you get used to. So that's not a real issue for me now. And getting 24/7 care is a bit of an issue.
Yeah, how did you find that getting the care package?
It was tricky. I've not got exactly what I want, but I've got some sort of compromise. But I was lucky I got it because now it's really hard to get a care package and get out of hospital without somebody fighting for you, like a MP or MSP or somebody, because it's quite really hard, especially certain bits of Scotland, especially West Coast, harder than the East Coast, I would say.
When you got your trachea, were you in hospital for a long time afterwards?
3 months I was in hospital for.
And was that just the recovery time, or was that also about setting up the care package?
The first 2.5 months were about getting to a place where I could get out. The rest of that time was for getting the care set up and getting my care team to know what to do with tracking, how to deal with it, because it's quite involved, the things I've got to do with it.
Yeah, does that take much time up every day?
It adds a bit an hour on, well, half an hour the other side of getting up and dressed and showered and all that. Adds about half an hour both sides, maybe 40 minutes if you're lucky. It depends what sort of day you're having as well. You have good days and bad days. It's just that's the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds like you definitely made the right decision at the time.
In hindsight, I definitely would have done it earlier, but see, if I was asked like 6 months before, I'd have probably said no. So it's kind of one of those things that before you do, you don't think it's a good idea, but after you do, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, it seems like you've adapted quite well now to to having it. I suppose
Yeah,
it must be quite routine for you now.
yeah. I'm quite calm as well when things are happening, so it makes it easier for my support workers to deal with issues because I'm always usually quite calm.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. And you said about the care package not being quite what you want. How could it be better for you?
We're working on a plan of me moving my own house and getting like, a bigger care package. And I know some people listening to this might not know that, but you will know what my plan is.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. What is it that's made you think about wanting to get your own place?
I just think our parents are getting a bit older now. Both going to be both will be retiring soon, and I just want to have time to myself and have a bit more independence as well.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And is that something that you've ever done before? Is live away from home?
Not this will be the first time, so it'll be a big step. A step I want to take no matter what COVID's done. I still want to make the step.
And yeah, tell me, yeah, tell me a bit about your life at the moment, and what do you enjoy doing with your time?
I like going to the cinema. I like going out for food. I also, the hospice in Glasgow's doing. They've got a 11 mile hub, so they do like you can get massages, and I quite like going to do art as well. That's quite good. That's quite relaxing. I've started doing that mouse painting. I've been doing some painting on my computer as well, and I go to football as well when I can.
Yeah, I've seen your work, and I think it's great actually. I love the kind of like uh, almost minimalist kind of approach to your drawings. I really like it.
Thanks.
I just wondered about that. How do you manage to do the art on your computer?
I can still use my mouse, so I can do that. I use my mouse two-handed, so I use two hands to move it about. I like mouse painting better, but I can't do that just now. But that's quite interesting to try.
So how does that work?
Well, I get positioned in front of the canvas, and then like you work with an artist quite closely, so it's an artist helping you all the time. So like she'll put the colour in the brush and then put the brush in my mouth, and then I just paint on my mouth. So it's quite interesting to try.
How
It's,
easy is
it's,
that to do?
it's easier than I thought it was. It's once you get used to doing it, it's a lot easier than to start with. But it's quite. I find it relaxing. It like all you're doing at that point in time is thinking about picture how you're painting, where your brush strokes go and all sorts. So it's quite. It helps you relax and just not think about anything else. So it's quite good. I I really appreciate that the hospice gave me the opportunity to try it, and I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to going back to it when I can.
you like to get out and about as well, don't you, regularly?
I'd go out twice a week with my support workers, and then me and my dad would usually go to football on a Saturday. So that's what I would do usually in a week.
And yeah, what team do you support?
Uh, Gaelic one, the championship in Scotland.
Cool. And how important is that to you, the football? Is that something you enjoy?
Well, enjoy's a strong word. I like going, but sometimes the matches are like hard to watch. Sometimes, like any team, but it's good going. Like I like going early. Just me and my dad going in, get a program, getting settled, and all that. Just watch the teams warm up and have a wee chat and things. I've been going about 18 years, 19 years, so we know quite a lot of people and I have chats with people. So that's quite good, the social aspect as well, and just it gives you something to do, something to go to. And I quite sometimes as well, me, my dad, and my brother go to like an away game, which is a good fun, good adventure as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds good. So you've got plenty of things going on to keep you busy by the sound of things, and of course you help
Uh,
us at DMD Pathfinders as well.
yeah, much as I can, yeah.
Yeah, take
Uh,
part in stuff like this.
talking about volunteering, I used to be a Cub Scout leader.
Oh, really? Mhm.
I was one for about 7 years, 8 years. At a local scout group, that's what I did for a while as well. Because most of my family have been in scouts at some point, so that's something I did for a while, which I enjoyed doing.
And do you have any siblings or anything?
I got a big brother.
How has it been kind of like growing up with Duchenne with your brother?
We've got on fine. It's good. And I like going to see my brother's wife or my niece
Mhm.
when I can. And I was allowed to go back and see them on Saturday in the garden for the first time in months, so that was really good to see them all.
Oh, lovely. So that must be really, really, really quite important to you then, that kind of,
Yeah,
spending time with family and stuff.
yeah, because usually we get my niece every Tuesday
Mm.
after school, so
How old is your niece now?
she's going to be 10 on Tuesday.
Oh, wow, cool. So are you the fun uncle? Do you spoil her?
Hopefully, yeah, yeah. Do she always comes in and asks me for things, and I always spoil her. Within reason, though. Don't you can't over spoil anything, but within reason.
Yeah. But that's part of the role of the uncle, I
Yeah,
think, isn't it?
yeah. And she likes playing the Xbox or Switch with me, so that's quite good fun.
Oh, that's good. That's great. You've got something that you can do together.
And I've just got always adapted equipment for my new Xbox, so I'm looking forward to trying that with Sarah when I see her again at my house.
Oh, great. So, just a few questions to kind of finish off. What what would you say was
So
like the proudest moment in your life?
I think graduating was probably my graduating and get a job were probably two proudest achievements. And also winning a fight when I got my trachea. Winning a fight against what happened to my body, which was probably a good achievement as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. No, you've obviously done very well. Despite the challenges thrown at you, you've had a good like fulfilling life by
Yeah.
the sound of things, and yeah, hopefully many more years to come. And what would you say is like your kind of happiest moment? What are you happiest doing?
I think I'm happiest when I'm away on my holiday with my mum and dad, my brother, sister-in-law, and my niece. That's when I'm happiest, or with family or friends. To spend
Hmm.
time with my friends and things as well.
So, what are your kind of hopes for the future and the next few years for yourself?
I hope to get my own place, get my care up, and like just do fun things and try and help people when I can, and just try and help the younger people with our condition and similar conditions. See if we can do anything for them to help their lives get better.
Yeah, yeah. And on that note, perhaps a final question for you is if you're talking to a young person with Duchenne, who's just kind of starting out on their young adult life, what would you say to them? What advice would you give to them?
I would say never give up, always fight, always question, ask again. If you're not happy, keep asking. If you're not happy with your opinion, get a different opinion. See if you get the right way forward. But always ask questions, never just sit there and go, oh, this is fine. Ask and fight and use AMD you can to help you, like politicians, people like council, healthcare workers, AMD that helps you. Just I also would say if you're scared or you need help, ask for help. Like Jackie up here works out the UK is quite good at helping, and you guys are quite good at helping as well, and a few other charities, but just ask for help. That's what I would say as well.
Okay, that's great. Well, I just want to say, yeah, thank you so much, Brian, just for joining us and
No problem.
sharing your story. I think it's really in, inspiring what you've achieved for younger people thinking about what they might want to do.
Yeah, thanks for your kind words about my painting as well.
Yeah, No worries. So yeah, thanks very much, and hopefully we'll see you more involved with Pathfinders in the future.
Yeah,
Great.
anything.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.